Travis Wayne Goodsoul. Number 5, the Key of Moses. And then tomorrow morning, the Feast of Tabernacles, for how I found out what the number 15 doubled in my 9/11 morning dream meant. Joseph Smith History, 1838, verse 40. The sun god at noonday appears to Joseph Smith, says he's Malachi, and says his name is Nephi. Remember, translator? You forget already? Oh, you didn't watch it? You can't just ignore me and hope I go away, and that somehow the church is going to be true. It doesn't work that way. You got to produce the fruits. You got to judge by the fruits. That's what these gifts are that we're going over. And so I've already proven who I am. For you to deny it is the warning that Joseph Smith is warning you about. He's quoting the 11th chapter of Isaiah, talking about Joseph Smith and myself, saying that it was about to be fulfilled, because it already was. It's 1838. He quoted also the 3rd chapter of Acts, 22nd, 23rd verses, precisely as it stands in our New Testament. He said that that prophet was Christ. So it's our Christ. Okay? Don't rush to Jesus. That would be imposing a bias. Because I can go over again with you about how it's the Jewish Christ. But the day had not yet come when they who would not hear his voice should be cut off from among the people, but soon would come. And then talks about Joel, sun shall be darkened, moon turned blood, stars fall from heaven. And so in the footnotes for 40b, see Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19, and Acts 22, 22 and 23. So you're clueless, this is your first time looking at the scriptures and you are trying to use the footnotes for your very first time looking up the scriptures. Have you never been biased by a Christian religion, let alone the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? So it says, for Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren like unto me. Him shall ye hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you. And it shall come to pass that every soul which will not hear that prophet shall be cut off, destroyed from among the people. If you knew Greek, you'd know that the translation is utterly destroyed. And then 24, all the prophets from Samuel and those that follow after, as many as have spoken, have likewise foretold of these days, when this man like Moses shall come, whom Joseph Smith said he hasn't come yet. He's still yet to come. Did you miss that? Are you illiterate? Apparently the cops are coming to get you. The illiteracy cops. So, in the footnotes, you see Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19. Guess what? That's in one of the 5 books of, quote, Moses. Moses truly said. Yeah, there it is. And Joseph, there's Joseph Smith history, chapter 1, there's no chapters, verse 40. He has not come yet. The day had not yet come. It's not Jesus of the Roman period time. This is basic, simple stuff. And the church throws it in your face. It's a scripture mastery. They quote it to Deuteronomy. They quote it to Acts. And here, the Book of Mormon. But it's only 1st Nephi's version of it, not 3rd Nephi's version of it. So we'll go into 1st Nephi 22:20. And the Lord will surely prepare a way for his people, unto the fulfilling of the words of Moses, which he spake, saying, A prophet shall the Lord your God raise up like unto me, him shall ye hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you, and it shall come to pass that all those who will not hear that prophet shall be cut off. They don't use the axe, destroyed. Curious. That this prophet of whom Moses spake was the Holy One of Israel, and he shall execute judgment in righteousness. Having some trouble with the verb tenses. And so this time we have the link in verse 21, not in verse 20. There it is, 3rd Nephi 20:23. And so Jesus makes his appearance in literal history America, in the Book of Mormon, literal history, not Jewish prophecy and revelation. We deny prophecy and revelation. That ceased with the apostles. Whom Joseph Smith, in Joseph Smith history, which they do not put it in the footnotes for this one, or the previous one in the Book of Mormon. He has not yet come. And yet, here we go, in the Book of Mormon, he's already come to the people in Rome, of Jerusalem. And now he's coming again. It's his second coming to the people in America. For behold, I am he of whom Moses spake, saying, A prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren like unto me. Him shall you hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you. And it shall come to pass that every soul who will not hear that prophet shall be cut off from among the people. And it's quoting Acts, except for precisely as it stands. Destroyed. It's cut off. There's a reason for that. I've done the video. It's been a while. It's because there's some other Jewish scriptures that use cut off. That's what Joseph Smith is trying to get you to understand. And because of the cyber terrorizing lately by the YouTube Mormon employee, I'm seeing that playlist as I'm having to scan all 100 plus to find the ones that I need to use for my videos. Bastard. He doesn't get it. He thinks the church is true, and so he's justified in cyber terrorizing me to silence my voice, give me all sorts of persecutions and cyber crime terrorism because the church is true. And he doesn't understand that Joseph Smith is warning him. You need to listen to me, or you're going to be destroyed. He doesn't want to listen to me. He doesn't believe in me. He doesn't believe Joseph Smith. He doesn't believe the Book of Mormon. And he's going to have to suffer the consequences because Joseph Smith says, "They that come shall burn you." If you don't listen to me, they that come shall burn you. And he thinks that it ain't going to happen, that the church is true and is protected by Jesus, and this church will stand for all eternity. Will never be taken away from the earth. Again. He's not getting it. Neither is the Mormon, who keeps putting a thumbs down on every single video. I have no idea who they are. I'm doing my videos, doing my channel to save you. And you don't believe Joseph Smith. You don't believe the Book of Mormon. You're protecting this church, which is going to murder you. You're paying this church that is using that money to pay the Judas price to murder you. And they're laughing at you. Thank you for making us richer. They're using you. You're a tool to this church. You're their puppets. And all you can think about is how I need to be destroyed to prove the church is true. Dear God. And so, no, this is the prophecy and revelation, guys. The whole thing. Joseph Smith makes it very clear. That's why Brigham Young did not want it published. That's why it got changed by Willard Richards after Joseph Smith was dead. Added Jesus Christ to the name in verse 1. Changed it from Nephi to Moroni. Because they don't want you to know the truth. And even then, it was only because of Richards on his mission, the President Richards, not Willard Richards, like a brother or something like that. And when he came back to Brigham Young's Utah territory, being dethroned as king, the pamphlet got published, and thus that's when it got changed by Willard Richards for publication. But in 1842, the Times and Seasons in Nauvoo, Joseph Smith finally got it published, and nope, no changes that we currently have. Because the originals are in the Joseph Smith papers. Alrighty. And so, not a single one of these refer to section 107, verse 91, or to section 103, verse 16. Because the church cannot have it be a human being after Joseph Smith. It's got to be Jesus. So, section 107, verse 91. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church. and to be like unto Moses, who is the Christ, who still has yet to come in Joseph Smith's time. And so Joseph Smith is the president of the church. Joseph Smith is the man like Moses. Joseph Smith is the Christ, and his actual Jewish title is Messiah ben Joseph. 2 Nephi chapter 3 verse 5. And we'll go to that, because this won't footnote it to that either. Oops. Wherefore Joseph of Egypt truly saw our day, and he obtained a promise of the Lord, that out of the fruit of his loins, Ben, son of Joseph, the Lord God would raise up, hey, there's a linguistic pattern match to Deuteronomy and all the other copies, a righteous branch unto the house of Israel, not the Messiah. From Deuteronomy 18:15 through 19, the man like Moses. But a branch, which was to be broken off. This is Joseph Smith, Messiah ben Joseph, the Jewish Christ, who is to set up the church, set up the temple, and then be assassinated by the enemy who would usurp and insurrect his church and change it to Christianity and commit a coup. Nevertheless, Joseph Smith is to be remembered in the covenants of the Lord, that the Messiah should be made manifest unto them in the latter days. He is not yet come, said Joseph. This is where he's getting it from, the Book of Mormon. Had to be rewritten by Daddy. Okay? And so, Jeremiah. Then we'll go to section 103. Chapter 23. Condemning pastors who destroy and scatter the sheep. Talking about justice coming to them. And so, behold, verse 5, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper and execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved. Phonetically the same as Utah, and since it's not the Jews, it's Mormons. Where do Mormons live? The headquarters of the Great and Abominable Church is in Utah. Prophecy. Ta-da! Mormons shall be saved. Shua. Yahshua. Jesus. The reverse of Isaiah. Shua Yah. And Israel shall dwell safely. And this is the name whereby he shall be called, the Lord our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come. Prophecy. Saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. The Lord liveth? Jesus? Did he bring the Roman Jews out of Egypt? in an Exodus? This is Moses. David, Moses, Yah. But these are not his names. Isaiah says his name is Emmanuel, the god Amun of the Egyptians, sun god at noonday, God, Sol. Ben de Soleil for the central tan. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country and from all countries whither I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Zion. Talking about the redemption of Zion now. Verse 16, section 103. Therefore I will raise up unto my people a man who shall lead them like as Moses, the Christ. David, Moses, the Christ, led the children of Israel. For ye, Mormons, are the children of Israel and the seed of Abraham, and ye must needs be led out of bondage. Is Joseph Smith a prophet? Are you in bondage? Do you have to wear a symbol of your bondage? Do you have to pay the atonement debt of your bondage? Section 119? By power and with a stretched out arm. As your fathers were led at the first, even so shall the redemption of Zion be. And so thus, being put into bondage was the whole perpetual immigration fund. The human child trafficking, the human child sex trafficking, bondage, perpetual immigration fund. Brigham Young was the wagon carts, the rich people with the ledger money from the Danites that turned into section 119 upon Joseph's death. And then the poor were then gathered with the slave trading of the perpetual immigration fund after the United States dethroned Brigham as king and stole his land. And so he put the poor Mormons in slavery and brought them to the valley with him in hand carts, because it's a lot of extra money to pay for them to come over in wagons. And so instead he had them make hand carts that are cheaper and had to pull them the whole way. And many of them died because it was the winter time. And this church tries to tell you that they were willing to die for Jesus, the living prophet of Jesus. Yes, many of us died. It was stupid of us to have gone during the winter time. But we were blessed with death, sickness, disease. Oh my God. And you fall for it. The primary hymn walked and 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 walked. Pioneer children. And so, yeah, that is the mentality in Mormons. As my second ex, when I told her, hey, we're in the latter days. When is the latter days? When are we going back to Independence, Missouri? Because we didn't know the Joseph Smith paper. She wouldn't have believed it anyway if I had to show it to her. Anyway, because she didn't want to walk. She knew. I'm not walking. When is it? When do we go? She couldn't handle the stress and left me before the very first sign of the latter days to start it all off. She was married to the Christ, and she couldn't endure my presence. She had access to greater knowledge than any of you would have ever known through my YouTube videos, and she couldn't endure it. And so I tread the wine press alone. Yes, section 110. Kirtland Temple, third day of Passover. Thus the 18th of the Jewish calendar. 3 days after the 15th, the start of Passover. So notice Joseph Smith is doing it on the first of the 15, during Passover, the exodus of the Jews, of Moses, because he has the keys of Moses. And here he gets them. See, everybody focuses on Jesus seeing him and Elijah. Elishua and Moses are side stuff. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints uses the keys of Moses to be for Peter, James, and John. It's been flipped. So verse 11. After the vision of Jehovah, the key of creation, and I've done the clips from Oaks saying, no, we don't have the keys of creation. Right here. I know you don't have it, but Joseph had it. I have it. After this vision closed, the heavens were opened again. And so, are you checking out the signs in the heavens during this time? No? And Moses appeared before us and committed unto us the keys of Moses, of the gathering of Israel, the Exodus in the latter days. The man you're looking for, right? Not Jesus. You're Christ, right there. That's your Christ. They all technically are. Jehovah, yeah, obviously the Christ. Elishua, not Elias, because it's the gospel of Abraham. You go to the book of Abraham, and it's the gospel of salvation. Shua. El Shua, God of salvation. Jesus, Yahshua. And then Elijah, El Yah, the God Yah. They're all the Christ. And so is Joseph. So simple. But when you turn it into literal history, you get screwed up. And so there's the keys of the Christ, of the Exodus, of the gathering. And Mormons say, no, hell no. Church is true, Jesus is the Christ. Where is he then? And leading of the 10 tribes from the land of the north. And so thus enters the Feast of Tabernacles on the 2nd 15th of the major Jewish holy day. That all Mormons, oh dear God, because yeah, we can bring this up again. Remember in the, which one did I do it in? Was it Revelation? The fulfillment of the latter days with 2014, 2015. Seriously, I thought I redid. Oh, no, I did redo it, and it would be in this file then. There it is. Remember that tetrad that you were led to believe by that one author who made it popular, saying that it was only lunar eclipses? Has nothing to do with solar eclipses or stars falling from heaven, you know, like the scriptures say. Sun shall be darkened, moon turn to blood, stars fall from heaven. Boom. Perry Packer Scott, bite the big one. And I went over it with you. I was educated to understand that death is a symbolism of eclipses. Collapse of kingdoms, death of leaders. And boom, Perry Packer Scott, bite the big one. Packer was the president of the 12, so Nelson took his place, setting it up for him to be the false prophet of the latter days, whose baby name meaning is Lucifer, just as the Book of Mormon told us it is. And so, the lunar eclipses occurred on both Passovers and both Sukkats. Letting you know, Mormons, it's coming. And Monson replied to Chad Daybell and said, nope. This isn't it. Nothing to see here. Move along. Keep paying your tithing. And so Chad decided to go off the deep end and claim that he's the prophet and that he's working to prepare the coming of Jesus and slaughtering his little kids as zombies of the apocalypse and burying them in the backyard, and now he's got the death penalty. Good job, Chad. He did not get it. He did not run through the checklist of prophecies. Yes, he was right. This was a sign of the latter days, warning Mormons of the coming. And I need to remember to put this in again, because Passover and Sukkot. This is about the man like Moses. And instead, you see the great and abominable church being set up to put Lucifer on the throne. So that all Mormons should have known the church isn't true. Especially when Monson said, nope, nothing to see here, move along. Scott is interesting because he died on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. Which is going to be coming up before Sukkot. Let's see if I can find that for you. We'll have to go into Documents and Hebrew. Yom Kippur is October 12th. Yep. So 5 days before. So heads up, Mormons. You've been wicked. You gotta repent. You gotta atone. And why are you paying for your atonement? Isaiah makes it very clear you're not supposed to pay. Isaiah 55. Ho, 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 everyone that thirsteth. Are you thirsty? What does that mean? There's juicy and now it's thirsty. What the hell's going on? What are these code words? Come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy, and eat. How are you going to pay for it without money? Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money, without price. That's to the temple. The sure mercies of David, an everlasting covenant, marriage. And so, yeah, will a man rob God? Yeah, if you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or its leader. But that's where the whole Malachi tithing thing kicks into motion here. And maybe it should be part of the tabernacles thing, but this is the economy of Zion. 2 Nephi, chapter 26, after explaining in specific detail that section 119 is not Joseph's but is a forged document. He then goes on and says, oh my God, he's quoting Isaiah here too. Verse 26 and 25. Who rules? Behold, doth he cry unto any, saying, depart from me? Behold, I say unto you, nay. But he saith, come unto me, all ye ends of the earth. Buy milk and honey without money and without price. Where do you think that comes from? 25a. Don't put Isaiah. Oh, there it is in C. You're supposed to put it at the beginning of the quote. So here we go. There's repentance. So 29, he commandeth that all, Lord, 29, he commandeth that there shall be no priestcrafts. Section 119. For behold, priestcrafts are that men preach and set themselves up for a light unto the world, that they may get gain and praise of the world. The Christ is not going to be popular. People are going to want to murder him. Those he's trying to save are going to want to hurt him, because Jesus is telling them to hurt him. And they seek not the welfare of Zion. And so, this is the economy of Zion. It's the people, not the administration, not the kingdom or the buildings. But the laborer in Zion shall labor for Zion, for the people. For if they labor for money, they shall perish. That's why no money is involved in Zion. This is the economy. And so, what you do, you get everything you need to live and everything you want to have joy. Can't give you a little honey bunny though. That's up to her. Oh, can't we just take away women's agency and force them to be with us? And force them to smile and be happy about it? Right, women? I mean, you've been in bondage for millennia. Can't you just endure another millennia of bondage? It's Zion, after all. Isn't that what you want? Can't go to the celestial kingdom without it. God, do you not want to be free? And so, Malachi. This is Joseph Smith's tithing from section 64, which has to do with the latter days as well. Guess we got to go to it. Will a man rob God? Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse. Yep, 23. For behold, now it is called today until the coming of the Son of Man, the man like Moses. And verily it is a day of sacrifice and a day for the tithing of my people. For he that is tithed shall not be burned at his coming. They that come shall burn you. Malachi, added by Joseph Smith. It's tied together. The Exodus, the man like Moses, Zion, the economy, is to save you. We need to get to Zion. And so, bring all the tithes into the storehouse. For Zion. It's for all of us. Everything we do, we give to Zion's storehouse, so that we then go to the storehouse and place our orders without money and without price. I want 3 cheeseburgers, chocolate shake, and fries. Well, somebody has to put it in first, but that's perishable food. So do you not want to barbecue yourself? Well, it's quicker and easier this way. Carl's Jr. and Wendy's use actual meat. I don't know about McDonald's, whether they do ultra-processed. There's a difference between processed, which has been done for centuries. Technically, I think it was World War I or II when they started using preservatives in the canned goods. But that's processed. Goes through a process for bulk quantities for an increased population. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no harm in that. And yet you got these anti-humans who are telling us not to eat food anymore. But ultra-processed, which has been in the news lately, are companies that are using scientists to put chemicals in the food. And those chemicals are killing people and apparently causing Parkinson's. I'm not sure what chemicals they're referring to in the news segment about chemicals causing Parkinson's. But chemicals, drugs, all of Big Pharma's drugs are killing people. Chemicals. All your cleaning supplies, Roundup, they got busted for poisoning people. Chemicals. So, that's all it is. You get what you need: food, clothing, shelter, communication, transportation. You really don't want to go out because war. Zion will be the only place in the whole entire world that will be at peace, safety, and refuge. So you kind of want to stay home to stay safe. But there will need to be some rescue operations in order to get the people from around the world to Zion. So that's going to be stressful. But the storehouse is the economy. Malachi's day, that was for the poor. Because the people who were farmers and who made clothes and stuff were the ones to give to the storehouse. And so those who were poor came to the storehouse. And it's not a welfare system. You go to the storehouse and say, I'm hungry. Here's some apples. What do apples have in them? Not just the worms. Seed. They're not ultra processed to kill off the seed to make them worthless. They're not seedless apples either. They can take those seeds and plant them and produce apple trees. That's their apple tree. And every single apple on it has more seed in it. And so the poor were given what they needed to pull themselves up out of poverty, so that they then can contribute to help others who are having a hard time. But Zion, yeah, everybody. Everybody uses that system to prosper Zion. So the more people you get, the more diversity of products, the more prosperous. So not just for food, clothing, and shelter, but for what you want. This is where the prosperity comes from. Your time, talents, and energies go to the building up of Zion, not as a slave, as the church's law of consecration has it. This is Zion's economy, And it is completely different. And no, it is not communism. You own what you're given. And you are not given rations. That is communism. You are rationed what you get, and you don't own it. Everybody is just stupid. They get put the fear of communism in them, and they go berserk with all these speculation accusations of ignorance and hate. But yeah, communism is a failed system because it's a monetary system of economy. But that's how you win Civilization 3 complete. Said Myers the communist. Anyway, that's what I want to do, is play that game. And I can't when I'm trying to save your lives. I have not played that game since. Since starting my mission to save your lives, I have not been able to play that game. That and Cleopatra. Building pyramids. You won't let me. So yeah, section 45. Zion is the only place that will not be at peace, safety, and refuge. Peace means Salem, by the way. The New Jerusalem, for which Joseph Smith himself, in the Articles of Faith in the Wentworth letter, that again Brigham Young didn't want anything to do with. It was President Richards from England who had it in his pamphlet and brought it back, and it got published and became the Pearl of Great Price eventually. 10. Okay. We believe in the literal gathering of Israel. Keys of Moses, Joseph Smith, Kirtland Temple, third day of Passover, and in the restoration of the 10 tribes. That Zion, the New Jerusalem, will be built upon the American continent at X marks the spot on April 2024. That Christ, a man like Moses, will reign personally upon the earth. And he lets you be free. He wants you to have the life you want to live. Yeah, me. I don't want to be king. I want to play my game. I want a honey bunny. That the earth will be renewed and receive its paradisical glory. Yeah, after everybody's dead, then we will be branching out, obviously. Because we'll have honey bunnies, seed, egg, raise up baby. To start all over again. Zion will become Adam and Eve Central, while the rest of the world kills each other off. And so then we branch out from southern Illinois to spread throughout all the world, keeping it a paradise the whole time, not destroying the earth's resources. And so yeah, every single pyramid city, technically a ziggurat, but there's a capstone on the top for an observatory, will be green. Solar power. Hello? How complicated is that? And you get nuclear energy people saying, oh no, it's safe, it's clean. Why do we have a waste treatment center for nuclear power in Utah? Energy Solutions. Don't try pulling the wool over our eyes, especially when you've got a member of Congress who was a part of that company and is trying to pass laws to make that rich, to sneak in more nuclear waste to Utah. Dear God. So, there you have it. But it cannot happen if you won't believe. The whole thing. I know everything. That Hinckley dream that I told you about, when disappeared, held hostage, kidnapped by the church, tortured, trying to murder me. Yeah, that Hinckley dream triggered room number 88. Which, yeah, 77, 88. Both 15 are 7 days each, but our calendar means that it's 8 days. So there's 7 days for the two, 77 and 8 in our calendar, 88. Plus it was also 8/28. So that didn't work. But anyway, it was the eighth month when I had that dream. But yeah, after that, all sorts of inspiration just flooded my mind on how to build, design, and run Zion. That's why I told you all that. Because all that came from being locked up. No trial, no judgment, no sentencing, no hearings. Gone. Because I was a threat to the church's authority. I am a translator. And the church would have gotten exposed if I was able to get that information out. And so, Michael Watson, F. Michael Watson, secretary to Gordon B. Hinckley, was the one who called my stake president in the Younger Singles Ward to interrogate me. Who have you told about your decipherment of Paleo-Hebrew? What are you talking about? The church was stressed that I'm the translator, Gordon B. Hinckley isn't. Gordon B. Hinckley was in the photo op with Mark Hoffman in the video before this. And Monson sure ain't a translator, and neither is Nelson. Me, I am. God only gives those gifts to who the head of the church is supposed to be, and it ain't this church. It's me. I am the prophet, the seer, the revelator, the translator. I have the keys. It's me. I never asked for it. I was just born this way.